How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive, which was down 2.27% on the day. So not too bad, but you know what? I was actually expecting a bit more since we did have a strong rally inside of the market inside of Power Hour. But of course, I'll make sure you guys are prepared going into tomorrow. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis from Mullen. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.29, being down 2.27%. On the low, it tested $1.20, and then on the high, testing $1.37. Taking a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 41.747 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 63.463 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we also seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 34.46. And then taking a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 21-day EMA, and as well as the 50-day. So it's clear to see that Mullen is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So we can see for the low of the day, it tested at $1.20. So remember, we wanted it to hold up 125. In the past, we wanted to hold up 133. So we are continuing to see lowered lows, and this is definitely not a great sign. We did have a lot of strength in the market towards the end of the day, and I was really expecting to see a lot more from Mullen. But as far as for the high, we ended up seeing $1.37. So as far as going into tomorrow, I'd want to see some price action above $1.60 at the least. So if we can get some price action above 160, then I want to see if we can get to the 21-day EMA, which is at $1.77, and then seeing what it could do from there. Because if it's able to reclaim $2, I feel that we might have some bulls wanting to come in. But again, I am not guaranteeing that whatsoever, all right? And for the bearish case scenario, I've talked about this many times already. If it pulls back and it breaks 120, we want to see support coming in at $1.15. And if that level breaks, then the next support is around $1.03. So again, you want to keep an eye on these levels and also having a good idea of what the price action is looking like. That's why I give you guys what to look for if you're bullish and also what to look for if you're bearish on the play. So let's see what it does going into the next trading day. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information from Mullen. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filing for May the 2nd, we have Integrated Advisors Network LLC that purchased 11,100 shares. And we also have Signal 4, this is for April the 29th, that added 100 shares, and we have Focus Wealth Management Inc. that also added 1,000 shares. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 29.15%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 6 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 4.6 million, updated 9 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 5.36%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 28th, it was at 25.32, and then for the close of the 29th, being at 29.15. So what does this show us, taking into consideration the short interest percentage of the float being at 14.4%? 0.95%, Mullen does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Mullen. So we see here on the inflow it's at 10.71 million, and then on the outflow it's at 10.22 million. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 1.49 million, on the medium it was 6.79 million, and then on the small it was 2.43 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 2.15 million, on the medium it was 5.85 million, and then on the small it was 2.22 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 2nd, we end up having an outflow of 0.66 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then taking a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 14.91%. So this is not too bad for a volatile stock like Mullen. And we also have to understand, as far as for the market overall today, it was quite the roller coaster. We had a strong sell-off. You know what? We were selling off for most of the day. And then inside of Power Hour, that's when we had a lot of buying that was picking up. And I wanted Mullen to actually follow along with other tech stocks. But one thing that is clear, we have been experiencing below average volume. I will be talking about that further inside of the final thoughts, and as well as going over the recent press release. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Mullen, let's go over the recent press release that came out today. So here we go. Why is Mullen Automotive stock in the spotlight today? Specifically, Mullen Automotive has applied for a loan with the U.S. Department of Energy. In a statement, the company said that the loan will allow it to accelerate production of its electric cargo van, which investors see as a positive development. Year to date, Mullen stock is down 75% at $1.32 per share. What happened with Mullen stock? Mullen Automotive said it has filed for an ATVM loan that will help it ramp up production of one of its EV cargo van programs. It filed the application on April the 29th and is waiting for approval from the U.S. Department of Energy. Investors should note that the Mullen 1 EV is a light commercial cargo van, and the company says it will be one of the first in its category. Competitors currently include Ford's Transit Connect van and the Ram ProMaster City Cargo Van made by General Motors. We are proud to announce the submission of our ATVM loan application for the Mullen 1 EV Cargo Van program, said Mullen CEO David Mishuari in the company's written statement. Why it matters. News of the loan application is the latest in a series of positive developments related to Mullen Automotive. The company recently announced that it has begun construction on its highly anticipated battery plant. Additionally, Mullen stock jumped after the company announced it hired a former Tesla executive in a key leadership position. All the recent developments show that Mullen Automotive is making some progress and moving in the right direction. This helps to inspire some confidence among investors. So going over that press release, this is definitely great news for long-term investors who are inside of Mullen, because they're able to get this loan, then they can start getting operations moving a lot quicker. And that's where we can look forward to getting some more catalysts and more developments from this company, which in turn, you'd want to see some appreciation in the stock while all of that is going on. And the reason why this is key, because I know many of you want to make sure that you're buying those dips so you can take advantage of the upside that's in this play. And with that said, let's talk about the price action. So if you're looking for a strong move to the upside, I want to see Mullen being able to have some price action above $1.60. And then the level that I want to see it reclaim is right around the 21-day EMA, which is at $1.77. And if I see there's demand here and there's a lot of bulls, then we want to look forward to that move going to $2. It is going to be a psychological area. There will be some selling pressure, but if we have above average volume, I can see it moving further. But again, a strong catalyst could help with that. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see some activity, but we don't see a lot. But we have to understand institutions are not going to be loading up the boat consistently on plays like this, since the company is not profitable as of yet. They are still growing, so most of the interest is going to be coming from the retail side. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does have short squeeze potential, but in order for this stock to actually short squeeze, it needs to have buying pressure. And like I said before, we've been seeing below average volume on a consistent basis. And if this does continue, that's why I was saying it could pull back to the levels that I was talking about. We also can't forget that we have the FOMC meeting. The big spotlight is going to be on Jerome Powell. He said in his last meeting that a 50 basis point hike was on the table. So if he follows through with this, or even if he decides to go lower than 50 basis points, I'm looking for a strong rally inside of these markets. If he goes above 50 basis points, then you better believe there's going to be a lot more fear. We saw some fear today, and then towards the end, we saw a lot of buying that was coming in. So that's why I want to make sure you're prepared. You know that it's going to be a roller coaster ride, but at least you know the levels that you need to pay attention to if you're thinking about taking a position in whichever direction that you want the stock to go. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see how Mullen performs for the next trading day. We'll talk soon.